So we'll get started. We have a very exciting spring 2024 event. So thank you all for joining us. We'll be recording this. So the recording will be available later on for you through our webpage or through our YouTube channel. So don't forget to sign up for our YouTube channel, and I'll show some details in a short time. So for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the BrainX community. And for those who are returning, thank you for coming back. We started this community platform with the idea of sharing machine learning or AI in healthcare, scientific information for good. We have had 5 very successful years. Now we have grown to 5,500 plus international member community. So that's awesome. And a very active LinkedIn group with 3,000 plus members over there, to a very diverse group of members, from all the way from AI experts to students to clinicians and more. So well-represented group over there, sharing all the opportunities to learn about AI applications in healthcare. And of course, we have our website, brainxai.org, and I'll go through some of the resources, some of the updates on there, so that you can leverage that and gain more scientific information as you need. And yes, we do these monthly live sessions, so you can hear directly from the people who are working in this area, talk about their work, their publications, their research, and learn from their experiences. So those who haven't been to our webpage, brainxai.org or brainxcommunity.com, will take you to this homepage, where there are a whole host of updates and resources that are available to you. We have our Connect segment, which tells you the information about these monthly sessions and about our prior events. So you can learn about our prior events if you missed them, and you can go and enjoy them on our YouTube channel, where they're recorded and posted. As I mentioned previously, a very active LinkedIn group. We share a lot of scientific information over there, publications, people's opinions about different things related to AI in healthcare, and again, opportunities for conferences and other things that are there too. We have a Learn section where we have a list of links to curated publications, such as articles. There are now a lot of journals which are very focused on AI in healthcare, so you can see those over there. There are books and courses, so you can go to our website, filter it by books or courses, and get that. So they're linked. You can filter it by your different healthcare specialties and options and learn about that. Data, again, something that everybody needs. So we have the largest repository of links to open source datasets. Whenever we find an open source dataset, we put it over there. Of course, we cannot provide you with the data directly, but we provide you with the links and information about that data in brief. And you can go with usually a minimal data use agreement, get access to that data, and do your AI and healthcare research or development work. Our wonderful podcast series, Podcast Talks, has been very successful. We have featured some of the experts from across the world on AI in healthcare, all the way from clinicians to machine learning experts to researchers and developers, talking about what they have done, why they did it, how they got into this field, and their vision for the future. So learn from them and enhance your journey. And of course, meetings and conferences are a great venue to connect. So we provide you with listing of upcoming meetings and conferences so that you can connect over there, present your work, share your knowledge or research, and of course, collaborate with others to do more. And very excited today about our collaboration with Valid AI. So they're going to be talking about the Valid AI organization, which has been recently formed, which supports certain frameworks and tools that we have developed, especially in the field of large language models. This specific one is for human evaluation of large language models. And you can do that over here because we saw a lot of variability in how assessment of large language model outputs were being done. So we made this tool. It's freely available through our website, and you can use that. Once again, we are going to focus this event on the 2023 Year in Review, which is our feature publication for past 5 years. This is like the 5th year. We have been publishing Year in Review, looking at what happened in research and publication area in the past year based on our methodology, and we're going to talk about that, what our findings were. And then we will have Dennis and Ashish talk about Valid AI, the formation of that, and what they are trying to accomplish with that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shreya and invite her to talk about the 2023 year in review. So Raghav and Shreya,
Yeah,
over to you.
Hi everyone. Just okay. So hi everyone. We'll be talking about AI in healthcare year in review 2023, and so what is year in review? So we have been working on performing this year in review for healthcare specialties for last 5 years, 2029, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Each year, we release trends of publications in AI in healthcare specialties in collaboration with experts in the fields. Why there is a need for year in review? The surge of AI-related publications in healthcare has created an infodemic, inducing both excitement and fear due to rapid evolution and adoption of AI in healthcare. Then collaborative learning from research is crucial for understanding opportunities and challenges in AI in healthcare. So we try to provide a detailed quantitative and qualitative review of AI in healthcare research from 2023 that aims to provide deep insight into recent advancements in AI in healthcare. The search criteria that we used to extract the publications for 2023. So we searched through the database PubMed, and the search terms that we used were machine learning, artificial intelligence, and 2023, of course. And the language was restricted to English. Subject focus was on human subject research, and the search date was from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. The time frame of the publications that we extracted were the articles that were published specifically in 2023. And then we performed an inclusion and exclusion criteria on the articles that were extracted from our search. So the total publications that came out were 23,306, out of which we extracted the mature publications. This mature publications concept, I'm going to talk about it in next slide. So the mature publications were around 1,612. Out of which we excluded 346, which were irrelevant to the subject that we were interested in. And then we also excluded the systematic reviews, which were around 40. And then we finally performed our analysis on the remaining 1,226 articles. So what is maturity learning in publications? We adopted this concept of maturity of publications from Zuzeng et al. Paper that was published in Lancet Digital Health. The maturity of publication is defined as ability of the publication to answer the question, does the output of the proposed model have a direct, actionable impact on patient care by providing information to healthcare providers or automated systems? We earlier also used their model to evaluate AI in healthcare publications and evaluate the trend based on their geographical locations and healthcare specialties. And then we performed, we show the trend of total publications and mature publications across all 5 years from our year in review. And the total publications in 2019 were 3,351, and 2022 had 5,885. 2021 had 4,164, 2022 had 9,974 publications. 2023 had a sudden increase in number of publications, which was around 23,306. Similarly, the mature publications that the model gave us in 2019 were 99, and 2022 were 250. 2021, they were around 36. And in 2022, they were around 600, while in 2023, they were around 1,612. Then we manually annotated the mature publications, annotated them, their data type and model type. And we classified each of them into the data type image, tabular, text, and audio. And in the first figure, we show the distribution of each data type. And the image constituted the most, which was around 75.2%. Tabular had around 12.9%, text was around 11.6%, and audio was around 0.3%. Similarly, we did the similar annotation for model type, and we classified the publications into deep learning, AI general, machine learning, large language models, NLP, large visual models, and statistical models. Out of which DL was the most, which was around 59.8%, and AI general was around 16.8%, machine learning was around 10%, large language models was around 8.2%, NLP is around 3.7%, while LVM was 0.40%, and statistical models were around 1.4%. Then we performed a separate search for large language models, which is a new era in 2023. And we thought it is important that we see the trend in large language model publications as well. So we conducted an additional search in PubMed specifically for large language model publications. And the search keyword that we used was LLM and GPT. And the search dates were again filtered between January 1, 2023 and December 31, 2023. Language and subject filters were same as English and publications involving human subjects. And the initial results gave us 808 publications, and we excluded 224 publications from the initial result. Again, because they seemed irrelevant to large language models. And we performed a final analysis on remaining 584 publications. So again, we manually annotated this 584 publications into all the 26 healthcare specialties. And here we show the trend of for each specialty. And the general had the most publications, which was around 163. And surprisingly, surgery had the second highest, which was around 69. And education had 64 publications and imaging 55. And remaining as we show here. And then we further performed a word cloud analysis on the abstract and the title of these large language model articles to see which terms were majorly used across all these publications. And interestingly, ChatGPT is the dominant keyword that was used everywhere. So either they used ChatGPT to as a model in their analysis or something, or they have for sure talked about ChatGPT in their paper. And that was very interesting. And then we conclude that research and publications in AI healthcare are experiencing ongoing exponential growth across various domains. Generative AI made a significant impact in 2023, particularly in text-based data analysis. These publication trends do provide valuable early indications of potential future applications and sustainability of AI in healthcare field. And finally, I would like to thank our amazing BrainX AI research team, which includes our new interns, Julia and Rachel. They both helped us in the analysis that I just showed. And Dr. Dwarkanath Mohapatra with all his valuable insights and feedbacks. And that's it. And we do invite collaborations. If anybody is interested in working with us, we will be happy to have them on board. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shreya, for that quick and exciting review of the 2023 publications. One of the things that I put in the chat was that the reason why we had to restrict the annotations to 2023 to the mature publications was because there were like 20,000 plus publications. So in the past years, the first couple of weeks, I would take a sabbatical and go through 5 to 10,000 publications and exclude the ones that were incorrect in the search and would manually annotate them for the different healthcare specialties. But once it gets to 20,000 level, you really need AI to filter those publications. So that's why we did that. But since we have been doing this for some years, I think what was helpful was that we were able to display the trends. And I think those are very important and relevant to look at those trends. And one of the interesting things that we saw was how all of a sudden COVID starts going down in these publications, because if you go back a couple of years, COVID was a dominant form of or specialty for publication amongst every year for the last 2 or 3 years. And all of a sudden you see large language models making their way for the first time. And it was very exciting to see how every specialty that we had in there was trying to understand how this can be applied in their area, that is the large language models. And of course it was ChatGPT, which was the dominant one, because that was the one that had the public interface, so most of the people could only interact with something that was user friendly and had the public app that they could use, and they were trying to play with it and understand that. But what truly helped us significantly was our interns. And the intern for BrainX, that is Rachel and Julia, they did an amazing job with all the annotations and the publication itself. I see Rachel is here. Rachel, she's a medical student in Iowa. Do you want to share your experience with this?
Sure. So my name is Rachel. I'm a third-year medical student. I met Dr. Mather at the Iowa Society of Anesthesiology meeting in the fall. He gave a presentation, and I really enjoyed his work and was very interested, so I reached out after. So I've been working with BrainX since the beginning of the new year, and it's been a wonderful experience. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the community and the work before, just kind of interest in ChatGPT and more of like a personal understanding. But I really enjoyed working with everyone. It's a really great team. We meet every week and it's been a great collaboration, and I'm so appreciative of this opportunity.
No, thank you, Rachel. You really have inspired us to do so many more projects, and same for Julia too, who couldn't make it today. I do see a question from Steve Rosing. He's asking, have you seen cybersecurity moving up the value chain? And then there is another question from him about the role of explainable models. I really haven't seen much on cybersecurity at all, at least in the PubMed one. So there might be some that might be there in other publications, but haven't seen much in, at least through the PubMed search at all there. And the role of explainable models, I think there is a lot of work that is there that is concurrent with the research that is happening and the publications that are happening. People are trying to put out models which are explainable to quite an extent. So we have seen that grow consistently and be a part of these publications. Yes, that is evident. But many times, if they are not putting in explainability, they are also explaining why they haven't done so, or what were the limitations over there. So that has become an important part of the research work that try to make these models explainable. I think we're going to limit the questions, further questions for later. I would love to welcome Dennis Chornenky from Valid AI to talk about Valid AI's efforts in ensuring that we are following responsible AI, especially in the field of generative AI, which is expanding very rapidly. So we showed how all this research work is growing exponentially, but we need to do it in a responsible manner. And Dr. Ashish, Atreja, and Dennis have been working in launching Valid AI, a great collaboration from across the world. So Dennis, welcome, and looking forward to your talk here.
Well, thanks, Piyush, and thanks everybody for being here, enjoying the other research and work that you're doing here and learning about it. I can share a presentation
Sure.
To give some updates. If you give me just 1 second here. Oh, I see. Ashish just joined us as well. Hello, Ashish.
Hi, Ashish. Welcome.
Thank you, Piyush. Thank you, Dennis.
So we were just introduced, Ashish, to give an update. I was just going to share our presentation, but if you want to just kind of kick us off, make some comments, I think Piyush was mainly just looking for kind of an update on what we're doing with Valid AI and all the work that's been happening.
Yes, absolutely. Glad to be here. I already see some very familiar faces. I see Ben Babu, whom I got a chance to work at Cleveland Clinic, and a lot of other folks as well. So I think the key thing is, I do not know how many more are, is it a webinar or it's a closer way community. The key thing why we found Valid AI was, we do believe generative AI is a pivotal moment in our, not just for healthcare, but also for humankind. But it also is creating a problem of plenty. There is so much now, any high school student can start creating algorithms and bots. And so it's creating, and so startups are adding Gen AI solutions within their own products. Now the new startups, which are just creating Gen AI specific solutions, plus all these big four companies, tech companies are coming with newer versions, different models and all. So it's creating such a big, in a way, excitement, but also chaos on what we need to bet on to really transform healthcare. So we thought this is the best time when we come together and really look at the science and practice of generative AI. So that's how I think we found Valid AI. Now it's 50 plus organizations working together, health systems and health plans. So I want to, and it's been exciting. We announced the Social Determinants of Health Challenge. And the goal is to ultimately have sandboxes which can validate generative AI solutions and build a roadmap for execution, which I feel is the biggest gap right now. How do we execute not at a customer level like ChatGPT does on our own private way, but how do we execute at an enterprise level? And I think there's a lot of work that needs to happen in this space. So I'll pass on to Dennis kind of to share details about it, and looking at this community actually to work together on the execution and the playbook and the papers. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Ashish. Looking forward to Dennis to expand more on Valid AI.
Yeah, of course. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so VALID stands for Vision, Alignment, Learning, Implementation, and Dissemination. So the ideas Ashish mentioned is to really bring our community together around a common vision of the importance of adopting generative AI quickly but responsibly, and ensuring that we have a common approach where we can share best practices, that where we can align around new standards as they're emerging, and sharing what that what those perspectives are so we can actually help form them together. So we're also working with the Coalition on Health AI, CHAI, and some of the working groups that they're kicking off around new testing and evaluation framework for health AI. And we're particularly going to be supporting the generative AI work streams. Learning, we also want to capture the information and understanding that we're gathering through implementation and spreading that through dissemination, through perhaps various publications, presentations. We have a bi-weekly executive learning session that we do with various speakers from either our partners, with other organizations or government, or from our own member community, presenting case studies, what they've been doing in terms of implementation, what's been working, and so forth. So Ashish mentioned we have now, I think, nearly 50 organizations, health systems that are members. We also have a number of industry association partners, founding tech partners, and we've been strengthening our relationships with key federal agencies as well. And we'll be having more presentations from folks from those agencies in the future also. As you can see, we've got pretty broad presence. We're continuing to grow quickly with a lot of interest. We're expanding the resources and programs that we have, or components of programming that we're making available. We also have a bi-weekly newsletter and a listserv for active member engagement. We're making resources on AI governance and policy available through digital portal. And as Ashish mentioned, we're also looking at the best ways to make sandbox environments available to help validate tools. We're also exploring the concept of an assurance lab built to CHAI standards as those develop over time. And we're also continuing to look for opportunities to work with great research partners like BrainX, and are really grateful for your partnership and others. And we also applied recently to participate in the ARPH Innovation Hub, and I think there'll be many more opportunities for partnership, collaboration, and I think perhaps Accelerator venture partnerships in the future as well. So I'll stop there and just see if we have maybe questions, or if Ashish wants to add anything as well.
This is great. I just want to drop a link here for the social determinants of health challenge.
Yes, thank you.
That we have done so people can express interest in joining. The goal is to do things together collectively. And one of the gaps we have seen is we do not want generative AI to further the digital divide. So we want to put intentionality on us working together to close that gap. And one of the challenges we felt was there's so many SDOH elements, food insecurity, language, mental health, and others gaps, which are buried in social worker notes on case manager notes. And physicians at the point of care or nurses at the point of care, don't know those barriers. So the challenge calls for how do we create algorithms using GenAI and other tools to extract those data elements, map with Gravity project with the FHIR standards, and bubble them as blood pressure, like vital signs at the point of care. So before I see a patient, I actually know exactly what their gaps are, rather than making the entire care plan and then realizing, oh, this was some hidden notes where patient has a gap and my care plan needs to be adjusted. So I think that's a part where we'll be having sandboxes available. So if we'll be pairing clinicians who may be advisors, mentors, and adopters with computer scientists. So this will be a great exercise for people who want to enjoy and getting hands-on experience with creating generative AI solutions. And we had Google already had partnered with us to create a sandbox. We have sandbox in AWS, as well as a sandbox with Microsoft OpenAI. So all those sandboxes are there to play. So you can express interest, and we also have bi-weekly learning sessions so people can join in, and we have representation from Chai last time. We had a representation from leadership of the big tech vendors. So each one of us sharing and learning rapidly in this phase. And one of the things, Piyush, I think BrainX is already contributing is one of the first mini challenge of S2H is getting all the publicly available data set together, so people can do NLP and on those as a resource. So a lot of the knowledge that has been created by BrainX community about resources that are available are already helping us jumpstart, so we can then build algorithms on top of those nodes. So we'll just pause here, hear reflections. But I think the key thing, Piyush, is people can volunteer, people can join. There's no cost from an individual perspective, but our goal is you bring along your organizations wherever you are, because we are looking at you representing your organization and joining the execution framework accelerator.
No, I can tell you from my personal experience that this has been a great effort. BrainX AI is a member of this and happy to support this initiative, which is very much needed. But what we saw in the large language model publications from 2023, there is a lot of expectation from these large language models. People are excited about it. They want to use it. They want to adopt it in healthcare. But what we are also finding are the challenges there in that list of publications, which will release hopefully later today, and you can look through those. And we need this filter. We need this responsible development of the applications for healthcare. Something I even think about that Ashish you touched upon, the social determinants of health. I was just reading this article recently about the amount of consumption of electricity, that is power, and water for these generative AI models to run. It's a lot.
Yes.
And I think that is part of being responsible AI. So if everybody starts using it for small things which are not going to necessarily have great outcomes, although with the right intention, I think it's going to be challenging for us to resource it appropriately. And I think that's where that digital divide is likely to come in, where some people will corner these resources, whereas others can't just because they don't have it. So Valid AI is a great effort. I really applaud Dennis and yourself in spearheading this work and also creating these sandboxes, because it's been very challenging to do this, trying to form these collaborations across different universities, despite a lot of other tools like federated learning and other tools that have been there. It's been challenging. So I applaud you guys bringing some of the industry bigwigs to help foster this collaboration. And I appreciate the pitch and that's why I put in the chat also the Valid AI webpage, where people can join in this effort and you can synchronize this effort so that people are guided and helped in the right way. So thank you very much. I do see a question over here. It's about interoperability from Steve. He is asking, is still an issue to get data, training data up to speed? What do you do to address this? I think partly you answered that BrainX community provides the links to open source data sets. But are there any additional efforts from all these collaborators to bring this data into?
A great question. And I'll start and forward to Dennis. I may have to bow out after a few minutes. I think we're looking at a continuum of data. One is the data that's always publicly available. And then some of the data you need to sign up like Mimic and others, so we can map them. But the best part also is all the three major vendors have their internal resources, data resources. Some of them are healthcare, some of them are non-healthcare, but they are like Titanic data. But they are good to get started on many things. We're also looking at, with the NIH data sharing policy, a lot of the publications now have data that has to be posted or made available. So in fact, I think that will be such a great thing for BrainX and us to work together. We have a work stream of 2 computer scientists just looking at how to extract those data and make available under those terms, which are kind of guided by the NIH policy. In parallel, what we're looking at synthetic data to be added on. So the goal is not only you have sandboxes, you build resources and data assets in a Firebase or OMOP standard, so people can actually play and get themselves ready. And then once we feel those things are working the right way in either synthetic data or publicly available data sets, we are taking our sandboxes and putting them into our production level identifiable or de-identified data. So you can see a continuation when you learn from all these data set, feel comfortable, then under IRB guidance or other governance guidance, then each one of us can work within our organization and then turn on validation of those algorithms with actual data sets as well. So, so we are going mostly with federated data from an enterprise perspective as those be available. So that's what we hope with S2H as well.
Well, I'm just sharing the website so that everybody can see. It's pretty straightforward. It's validai.health. And if you're on LinkedIn, there is a Valid AI. Is it the group or organization? I think it's an organization that you can follow on LinkedIn too. So again, I would request everybody who's listening in or who will be watching this recording, check out the resources over there, join in this effort, because I think this is extremely important that we all join. And we can all contribute in different ways, right, Ashish? Like, so you could be a data scientist, or you could be a clinician, or you could be a ethics person. Everybody can contribute in different ways to this. Dennis, your thoughts on how people have been joining in this effort and how they can reach out to you and join in?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think following our organization page on LinkedIn is a great way to do it. We do typically post opportunities that are available for everyone for events. We do 4 large in-person events throughout the year, kind of connected to the major health conferences. There's also an interest form that you can submit on the website. Currently, our offerings primarily for organizations and people who kind of have seats through those organizations, but we're also collecting, kind of building out a list of folks that have shown interest to eventually launch most likely some version of a newsletter that will go out to anyone, just any individuals that have signed up for interest to help folks stay engaged, up to date about the news, and to be able to take advantage of opportunities to participate more directly in some things.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. One question that comes to my mind also is that, is this just a US-centric effort, or is this a global effort? How are you approaching this? Because we have a large global community with BrainX community, can they join in too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a number of global partners. There's Amrita University. There's Sheba Health and Arc Innovation out of Israel. There's also the Elna Medical System out of Canada. So from the beginning, Dr. Atreja's vision was very much to have this be an international collaborative.
That's great. That's great. Well, I don't see any other questions or comments, so I think we'll call it a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this exciting session. We did the 2023 year in review and where we are going to go with Valid AI for the future of generative AI. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, follow us on brainxai.org or on LinkedIn with the group name BrainX Community.